Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today is Sunday, September 29th, 2019, and today we're going to be taking a look at a 2020 electoral map if Donald Trump is removed and impeached from office. Actually impeached and then removed from office. But essentially this would be a scenario where the House impeaches President Trump in a simple majority, and then the Senate goes on to review the details of the case, the impeachment hearing, and decide to vote 67 to 33 or more in favor of impeaching President Trump, removing him effectively from office with that vote from the United States Senate. This is not too likely considering that the Republican Party has a majority in the Senate, and they would need 20 Republicans to cross over with every single Democrat and Independent to vote against President Trump in terms of removal from office, which, to be completely honest, is not too likely. So this won't be a Mike Pence versus insert Democrat here prediction, mainly because we have no idea who the Republican Party would put up if Mike Pence was president. They may actually throw in a different type of nominee for president of the United States if it is Mike Pence. And also we have this idea that this election is changing because Donald Trump was removed from office. That is never a good look for a political party. I will be making a video in the future, probably tomorrow, with a 2020 election prediction if Donald Trump is purely impeached by the House, because some interesting things happen when a president is impeached. For example, Bill Clinton, his approval rating actually went up, and if nothing really nothing substantial comes from the impeachment hearings, then it really just looks like a waste of time for the party that actually impeached him, as it did back in during Bill Clinton's presidency, so 2 terms from 1992 to 2000. But pretty much this would be a pretty interesting election map. So essentially generic Democrat with a Republican on the idea that the Republican Party isn't doing too well after its recent loss of a president. The only president, actually I believe there were 2 presidents that have been impeached. Bill Clinton and some guy with the last name Johnson from the 1800s. I believe he came right after Lincoln. Probably not, but somewhere around that time period. But other than that, no president has ever been removed officially from office in terms of like being voted out by the Senate. I think the closest was Johnson with 1 vote off of removing him from office. But yeah, so the electoral map doesn't change much. We still have the same general look. Some of the states may change in terms of percentages. Keep in mind, if Donald Trump is removed from office, it's never a good look for either political party. It's just never going to be beneficial to them to lose a sitting president, lose all factors of the incumbency, and throws a lot of casts a very negative shadow over the current administration and anyone that might fulfill the position as vice president, or in this case, Vice President Mike Pence moving up to president. But we have 182 electoral votes for the Democratic Party, 125 for the Republicans. If we're looking at some of these swing states, 231 electoral votes. These are the same swing states that we see time and time again, but the margins are what matters. This could be a blowout election if the remaining toss-up electoral vote goes to Donald Trump. Sorry, not to Donald Trump. Actually, would be, but to the Democratic Party. That's probably not going to happen, but you need to go ahead and take a look at some of these margins. There may be some states still left blank at the end of the video. Again, we don't have finalized candidates for the Republican or the Democrat, so you can't really be too specific about some of these states, but you can still see general trends, and what I would consider a generic Democrat would probably be just a tad bit of a mix between Warren and Biden, somewhere in between that progressive centrist mix, which would probably still be leaning more in favor of someone like Joe Biden, just because of the fact that the majority of the Democratic Party is not progressive in that aspect. I mean, maybe those numbers have changed since 2016, but I'm basing it off of primary data from the last actual Democratic primary. But 182 for the Democrats, 125 for the Republicans. Let's go ahead and see some of these safe Democratic states. We see states like New Mexico and Virginia move over into the safe column. States like Maine, Maine's first district would be safe. Maine at large would be safe. Keep in mind, Donald Trump is one of the few candidates, actually one of the only candidates that can win in certain areas in this country. John McCain, Mitt Romney, these people lost a number of states that Donald Trump won back in 2016. And to be completely honest, I think that a Hillary Clinton-Donald Trump matchup was better in favor of Hillary Clinton than what would be a Barack Obama-Mitt Romney matchup. Circumstances were definitely different. The candidates were different. But if we're talking about a traditional who you would expect to win. I guess most people would say, or did say back in 2016, they expected HRC to win the 2016 election. But if we're talking about a number of other safe states for the Democrats, we have states like Colorado I actually think could move over into the safe column. Again, a lot of these states are going to definitely be a lot more in favor of the Democratic Party. If Again, like I said, if there's another scenario where Donald Trump is not removed from office, which we could actually very well see this scenario where he's impeached but not removed, his approval rating could actually go up or it could take a hit. It really all depends about what actually comes from this investigation. If it seems very partisan and that they intentionally just did this to impeach President Trump, he could actually see a little bit better numbers. But if there actually is something that comes out of this that is substantial and the media picks it up, which they typically do, that could not be a good look for President Trump. So 212 for the Democrats, 125 for the GOP. We can go ahead and move over to some other swing states that we might see actually move more in favor for the Democratic Party because of this entire fiasco. So states like, let's see, Minnesota would be likely Democrat. I still don't think that one's going to be completely safe. State like Nevada could be likely for the Democrats. I'm actually going to move Maine at large into the likely column, probably 13%. Maine's second district I would consider lean for the Democrats, and that's a pretty substantial move in favor of the Democrats. New Hampshire I would also move into the likely Democratic column. Looking down at some other states, I do think that whichever Republican nominee does pick it up will win in Texas by a lean margin. Same thing with Georgia going into the lean margin. And that's pretty much expected. If we're talking about both of those states, they have a pretty red past. And though they were getting close in the upcoming, actually the past few elections, it's still no general indication that this one is going to flip. And typically they actually like standard Republicans more than they did like Donald Trump. If you compare Mitt Romney and John McCain's numbers in Georgia and Texas compared to Donald Trump's, not the best look, along with just the really bad timing for them with demographic shifts in both Texas and Georgia and some other states, but both of those included. Texas and Georgia just wasn't a good area for safe GOP victories. Yes, the GOP did win, and then I'm not going to take that away from them, but I'm just going to say that they could have definitely won a lot more if the election was held 4 years prior. So right now we have 126 toss-up electoral votes. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these other ones. So we have Nebraska's second district. I still think that one is a pretty good GOP area. I think that most nominees would actually win there. The last time I went to a Democrat was Barack Obama in 2008. Probably not going to see a repeat of that in 2020 unless it is a really special case. Things would have to be going good for candidates like Warren or Sanders in that area. The state of Arizona, I'd actually move into the oops, I didn't click it. Go up to Democrat. The state of Arizona, I would actually move over into the lean Democratic column. Now, I know that seems a little bit different than what you might expect, but this state already has been showing strides in favor of the Democratic Party, and they also have an upcoming Senate election that doesn't look too good for the GOP either, and the presidential election does not look good either if you look at some of those OH Predictive Insight polls as well. I would give Arizona narrowly to the Democratic Party, joined by the Rust Belt states. I think all of these Rust Belt states would be either lean or likely in favor of the Democratic Party. Even though Trump is removed from office, again, these states are still probably going to be just a tad bit close. But keep in mind, Donald Trump was the only one who could truly make these winnable for the GOP. Right now, I would say that the Democrats would still win here, just that it would be pretty close. But that leaves 68 electoral votes from Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Iowa. I would characterize North Carolina as a tilt GOP state. I still think that one holds its Republican identity pretty strongly. But Florida, Ohio, and Iowa, I'm not going to characterize. Now, I know that may look a little bit weird comparing it to the 2016 map, considering that North Carolina, Georgia, and Texas all went for Donald Trump less than Iowa did. And if you drop Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina went for Trump less than Ohio as well, even though Ohio and Iowa were both Obama states back in 2012, and North Carolina and Georgia were Romney states. But Florida, Ohio, and Iowa are traditional battleground states in these elections. I truly believe that Donald Trump was one of the few or only candidates that could make Ohio and Iowa actually competitive for the GOP in terms of not competitive, but lopsided in favor of them. I mean, these were likely margins in Obama states, which was absolutely insane for President Trump. But I think we're going to revert back to what we saw with the 2012 type electoral map where Texas and Georgia and North Carolina are more Republican than Ohio and Iowa, even though 2016 may have proved different. Arizona is one of the only states that's pretty much out of the ordinary in terms of its characterization. So that finishes this map at 290 electoral votes for the Democrat, 195 for the Republican, and 53 toss-up electoral votes. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to go ahead and comment down suggestions. I definitely read a number of these comments. If you have it, you agree or disagree with this video, make sure to comment that down below as well. But yeah, so again, thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.